As you can see, I am here, Vivienne Chauvet, your regular host, and our dear friend and my co host, Jeff, is currently going through a tough time at the hospital. So, for the time being, my wonderful husband, Peter Benson, who many of you have met before, I've stepped up to the plate, and with Jeff's permission, he's completely in agreement with this. He said, just go live, do the episode for today. So as we're going to dive with our amazing guest today, with Sabrina Campbell, who have so graciously stepped to the plate as well, says, let's do this, let's bring. I would like right at the beginning to honor Jeff, and it's a bit emotional for me right now. And whew, I know that everything is perfectly in order. I spoke with Lavinia, his wife, so I want to honor Jeff, Lavinia, your family, everybody around Jeff, her friends from the Infinite Voice Project as well. So we just want to come together in our light, and we're going to do that throughout the entire episode. Plus, we have a very gifted healer here. Don't tell her, but she is Sabrina. So we'll bring the light, and let's support our wonderful Jeff. This is also a tribute to him as we doing this episode and honoring the space together. So deep breath again. It's going to be a special episode today, and wonderful. Luckily, Peter, my husband, represent the angelic realm, so bringing Archangel Michael with us, the healing angels with Archangel Raphael for Jeff and his family, and of course with Sabrina, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. We're going to explore a lot of healing energy and how we can elevate and support, someone so dear to us, like Jeff and his family. So thank you for being here on this very unique episode. But right now, allow me the great joy of introducing Sabrina Campbell. Sabrina is a favorite on the Infinite Star Connections, even though her presence speaks volume. Allow me to introduce her properly. Sabrina is a very gifted person who have chosen to utilize her gift for the greatest good. She's a wife, a mother. She is also a pet parent, and I love the way she loves her animals, including her chickens, which we'll talk about. She's been quite on her journey to discovering the gift and the possibility that she can create in this lifetime, and of course, over more than one lifetime. Her ability to reside inside of her, her energy, her power, holds great energy, including on a psychic level, which is ability to talk to her higher self and her guides, mediumship, where she can talk to people who have passed on to the realms of light. She's an energy communicator, meaning the ability to talk to beings from all areas of the cosmos and from many dimensions and interstellar energies, light beings, guides. She's an angel communicator. Oh, that I really want to dive today. The ability to talk to her guardian angel and the archangels, and it's perfect with Peter representing the Archangel Michael. She's also an animal communicator. That's what I really want to dive deep. The ability to speak to animal living and those who have passed on. And sometimes Sabrina calls her session the soul sessions, where she combines all of her abilities into one unique way of helping people, their pets, their loved ones, and even beyond. Sabrina has her Reiki level 2. She's also working alongside with that Reiki energy in her session. She has the ability to connect at a deep level since she was a child, even to the age of 5 years old. That's incredible. Sabrina, you have the ability to channel energetic beings with no effort. Thing comes to you. It's just this wonderful ability to be a clear channel for galactic beings, a conduit for cosmic energies. Your energy and your connection to the galactic console is very strong and aligned, and the message that you communicate reveal important truth and higher wisdom. into the nature of the universe and our purpose. I also see that from your bio, you communicate daily with Lord Melchizedek and the Council of 12.
Mhm.
Wow, let's take a deep breath. Sabrina, welcome today. Welcome.
Thank you. That sounds fantastic. Is that really me? Did you get that
It
from my
is.
stuff?
All of you, dear, all of you. And we're going to utilizing all this energy again throughout today, the entire episode. We're here to support Jeff
Mhm.
as well in parallel. So thank you for joining us on such a short notice, everyone. Sabrina, let's dive into your journey. I know this is your bio. This is just an extract, but I want to hear from you. From
Mhm.
how does it feel to communicate with animals?
I don't know a different way of being. Um, for me, I'm grateful for the ability to gain clarity from them. Like, even if it's just their, not just, but even if it is their opinion, not something on the earth and like the global scale. Um, I'm really grateful for that because it's an interesting view to have when I can trust those around me just by thoughts, and they feel like just thoughts, but they're not. They're widely communicative packages. So um, I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful that I worked whichever way I worked in the previous lives to be able to have the openness to energies in this one. I also do realignment of meridians. So I'm doing a lot of right now. Well, not a lot, but I'm moving more into the direction of including the meridian realignment treatments because they're fantastic. It's almost like a light massage, but it has a lasting effect. Like quite a while afterwards, one feels stuff starting to click into place in their body. And while we're talking about all of this, we know that we're healing Jeff, or we're helping Jeff. We're sending healing his way. He chooses whether or not to take it. But the more we talk about the energies, the more we open up, the more he opens up, and the more energy goes into him, whichever way he chooses to allow it to work on whatever area he chooses to work on in this time frame. So we can talk about so many things and still positively affect Jeff, all a huge part of suffering. Suffering is a human thing. So that's what animals have taught me. And I'm hugely grateful for that. Hugely. Oh, I can't hear you.
You know, able to hear me?
Oh, I
Oh,
can
now
now.
I can. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. It was a temporary reset. Here we
A
are.
glitch.
Just a reset, exactly. So as I was saying is I love what you're saying about the more we talk about, meridian realignment energy, the entire time we're transmitting those healing energy to Jeff. And Jeff, we know my co-host and our dear friend is going through a tough time right now, is in the hospital. This is why my wonderful husband, Peter Benson, stepped in to be with us and hold a space with us. And of course, we'll have a communication, especially when it comes to the angel communication. I will let you two really dive deep into that one. But it really is, we want to send the energy and I'm going to be a little bit more like Octor and self to Jeff. Jeff, my friend, receive it. Just accept it. Just what it is.
Yeah.
Get it, man. Take
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay, I know that Lavinia, you're with us. You say yes. Just take it, take the energy. It's not a time to be stubborn. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Accept.
Yeah.
Accept or receive. Absolutely. So I want to explore that a little bit more with you. When you talk about meridian realignment, what
Mhm.
does it mean? How do you do that, Sabrina?
Technically, I have no idea. I think that's the gift, right? You don't know, but you know. Um, so what happens is I go to a body, like if somebody will be laying on my table, and the body wants support in the supportive side, right? So there's the side that has the, let's say, the ailment, the injury, whatever it is. And then there's the other side that's constantly supporting that side, that's not treated because it's not a squeaky wheel, right?
Right.
And so what we need to do is, in order for something to heal, we need to include all of that, right? We need to pull in that and allow that strong side, or that opposite side, to bring in so much energy, as much as it can handle. Too much is there is a thing. If the body is processing so many different layers, we need to say, I'll take as much as I can handle, or as much as I can process. That's a belief, but that's okay. They'll take what they need. So the supportive side always asks for my help. Every time I go to somebody, I'm like, okay, I'm going to send healing to that ailment, that issue, that whatever it is, by supporting the supportive side. Because then it's healthy. It's going to move everything over that middle meridian and cause all of those other meridians on the ailing side to light up, just light up. And so that's how I see it. I always refer to this movie, always. I've probably said it every time on this podcast. I'm not sure, but it's a movie called Lucy. And it's about, right? And it's with Scarlett Johansson, where she takes these drugs and it turns her into this super being where she becomes able to sort of use her entire consciousness, which is like the size of the universe. That's huge. So, and they show it in the movie as a percent. She's at 25%. She's at, because we only usually use around 10% of our brain. So, this movie is how she sees things. I literally went, what? When I was watching the movie, because I see it like that. I see it in these lines, not matrix, not numbers and non-binary stuff, but not that I doubt that others do. I don't doubt anything anymore. But what I see are lines that come in different colors, and they come from the great beyond up there, from the collective down to a person. They don't have to be straight. I've learned how to light up the lines that I'm looking for. If it's a person I'm not, or an animal, or a tree, or whatever that I'm working on healing, but I don't know who they are or where they are. And the energies will light one up and be like, this is the one that needs help. And then I will put in it's almost like it's like so much energy that comes in. And there's not a better word than energy. Energy we can measure. Electromagnetic energy. We can measure that. And that's what all of this system is about. So the meridians, what they're looking for, and the cells, actually, and we know this, the cells are looking to dispose of all of the fluids that are in them and pull in all new fluids, new oxygen, new liquid. It's best if it's water. But there are some people out there that don't even have enough electrolytes in their body to process water, because you need electrolytes. A lack of hydration isn't from not enough water as much as it's from not enough electrolytes with the water. So, and electrolytes are the electric stuff, right? Like that's what lights up and sends all of the messages everywhere, which is how we've been shrunken into these little 3D bodies. There's been, in a lot of us, a cut in that feed for electrolytes. I mean, we can find it by eating dirt, and most of us are afraid to eat dirt. We think it's dirty. Sorry.
You are funny, Sabrina. I always love your sense of humor and how you bring the energy. So, no, I'm with you. The electrolyte is very important, and to bring in this electrical connectors back
Yeah.
in the body. And it's almost like stimulating the energetic circuit, the realignment to take place,
Right.
right?
Right. So it's almost like the energy that's coming in is now becoming specific. It's becoming magnesium energy. It's becoming all of the metals, or the minerals, which a lot of the times do create metal. all of these minerals coming into our bodies. It's not so much vitamins anymore. It's more minerals. Like we're being told everywhere that salt is bad for us. I mean, 18 chocolate bars are bad for us in one sitting, but you know, if we have 18 chocolate bar versions of salt, yeah, that's not great for us, but we need salt, especially in the hot places in this world. We need it. So it's
Right.
one of these, but good salt, not like, you know, I mean, it would probably be better if all of us just went out and licked a rock, but we're not going to do that either.
Yeah.
So,
Can you do the same principle of the meridian realignment on animals, for example?
mhm, yeah, it's faster to do on them, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
um, Especially the emotionally based animals. Now, they're all sentient, they're all fully aware of emotions. There are those in the co creation agreement. There are those animals that are here to help us specifically with emotions, and that's dogs and horses, mainly horses. Well, pigs too, to tell you the truth. So these animals, they put me right where they want it. It's so when somebody asked me, how do you know? I don't. It's my hand is so magnetically attracted to one spot and it goes there. And then, like, I was meeting a horse one time, and her behavior was known to be a little bit tricky. And I put trust in her. I said, I know you're tricky because you're hurting. So show me where it hurts. And she led me right to the spot on her back. She kicked. She was this far away from hitting me, but I didn't budge because I knew she wasn't kicking to hit me. She was kicking because I was putting energy into that sore spot. And it was a jaw, like a shock almost. And I mean, when somebody shocks me, I'm like, you know, like I'm the karate chopper. Don't get in front of me and shock me. You get chopped. So I can understand the kicking, right? And the woman had said, how did you know? I don't. But that's the point. I don't question why I'm here in this area, like on this animal. Why am I here? It doesn't matter. Just be there.
Yep.
And then they're like, thank you for being there. And she moved her back away when it was too much. And then she put it right back under when she wanted it again. So they just take it. It just goes in. We don't feel it like that. Like when I start to work on somebody, they're not like, whoa, don't do that. They're like, oh, okay, let me have this treatment. I want to have a relaxation moment, but not much reaction. It's like people think they shouldn't react. I want to see when it hooks up. And so thankfully I do. Like I see it in my mind, but I also see small movements that tell me that I'm hitting the right spot. So I'm grateful for that. I don't know, language, that quiet, very subtle language. But that's energy too, right? Very subtle, quiet, or loud and obvious.
Absolutely. And like what Savvy just mentioned, you are very fun to listen to, Sabrina, and very much so.
Well,
Very
thank you.
colorful, real, genuine in your expression. Like, I don't know. I just know. I love that. But you say something important, that there's no questioning on what you are receiving. And that I feel like it's a big roadblock for so many people. Don't you agree, honey, Peter?
Yes. For me, that was one of the biggest things, is just accepting and understanding the energies coming through and the messages that come through. It's just accepting it.
And they're so profound at times. And it's almost not just accepting it, but thinking that you're able to witness it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is, so the questioning part, there's a time and a place, right? And when we're doing healing, there's no time or place for it, for the questioning, because that's what unlimits the reception in the person who is asking for the healing. So if I'm sitting here going, I wonder why I'm getting this, I'm more like, wow, that's cool, I'm getting this. And then we'll probably talk about it later. But we won't need to, because the manifestation of how open we both are in that moment brings the information right to me. So like minutes later. So it's like so gratifying to know that, and satisfying to know that it's so pure. This healing is so pure that the manifestation brings itself so fast because of the purity, because of the ability for that purity to go through and cycle through a body and work on healing as fast as it can when we are open.
Yeah, that is a really good point, is allowing ourselves to be open and receptive to receive. So when the message comes, the clarity, you just know where to redirect the energy. So is it always been this way for you, or is it something that you cultivate and develop over time in your abilities, Sabrina?
Yeah. Yes. It's definitely, I have always been this way with animals. I've never, very rare, very, I didn't really know about it, that I was doing it when I was young, when I was a little bit older, until like, maybe 10 years ago when I started to realize that this animal totally hears what I'm saying. And there's something going on between us. It's not just a conversation. There was something coming from my heart when I would, and it was a connection that was always there. So it was familiar. So it was difficult to question as well, because is this something that you feel? Is this something that the animal feels? Like how is this going through? And then the pictures and me understanding telepathy, animal telepathy is so easy to learn, but then the backup or the feedback is difficult to understand for some people. Whereas telepathy with people, you're able to get feedback, but the pathways aren't as open and available. So I trust the telepathy with the animals, and it's just, I can't say just, it's a beautiful process to be able to feel a hookup. It's like, again, movies. I get messages in movies all the time, all the time. Somebody can watch a movie and say, wow, that was a really negative movie. It had a lot to do with the negative things in the world. And I'm looking at it like, whoa, I just learned a ton. It's like a download that comes when I watch movies. So it's like Avatar when I'm with animals. And with Avatar, they have a part on their braid that's super long, but it's live, and it hooks in and connects with trees, with animals, with each other. And that's kind of what it's like, only that cord comes from my heart and
Okay.
hooks in with the animal. And then they give me all of this information and so much information. They're so brilliant.
It got me curious about something here when you mentioned that telepathic communication with animals, it's easy. It's the feedback that can be a bit tricky. So what makes it easier, that telepathic communication with the animal versus a human being? What's the difference?
It's that that's their primary way of communicating, is telepathy, energetic packets, and that's how they do every type of communicating. So we were taught to shut it off, and if we didn't shut it off, we would be just as available as they are. We would know we were all on the same level, all processing our own version of the same level. And but we lost that. We didn't lose it. It was purposely shut down with us. So, but animals know, because for those who purposely shut down things for us, they don't know how to do it with animals, because animals can go beyond the frequencies that they send out into the air. Animals can go beyond the chemicals or whatever they try to do in different ways. So it's their, well, two, and a lot of animals have 4 legs. Some of them don't, but they have a different way of grounding in a major way. And animals mostly have 4 legs. So they have 4 legs on the ground, grounding all the time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So what can potentially happen? Let's say that in a household, you have your, let's say, cats or dogs, and then you bring in other animals, and then there's one of the gang that says, I cannot deal with you, and they create conflict. Based on your experience and working in your gifts with the animal kingdom, is there a major key that can factors or maybe ways to remedy to that?
There's one way that I found. Now, there are many ways. And there are also reasons why they don't get along, because there's lessons in that too. So even if we wanted to bring an animal in and have zero kickback or anything negative happen, we can. But if they're there to teach us a lesson, why did we bring them into our lives if we didn't want to learn that lesson that they're bringing with them? So it's one of these things where I've found I have a few clients that like me to introduce animals energetically before they come into the home. And so I've always done that with my animals. And it always started out with, before I was aware of all this, I was like, I really would love for this animal to come into our home and just fit. They can have their opinions. They can have their tantrums from previous life, because usually we get rehomes. They can bring all of that stuff in however they want. I want them to know that that'll be supported, and it will also be worked with so that it's not there all the time. We're not bringing the past into this present situation. And so just by doing that, because animals are telepathic, if we have a thought, like, okay, my husband, my son, and I rescued a kitten last week, this past week. There's so much that happened in the past week. I don't really remember days or anything, but we rescued a kitten. What we think happened is it might have fallen off of a hay wagon. It was about 4 weeks old. She's now 5 weeks old. But she was about 4 weeks old, and she looked really rough. And I had put this energy into her where there was no expectation. I don't expect you to get better. If you need to leave this realm, that's okay. I'm going to support that as well. What I don't want you to do is to feel the people's suffering around you, because the animals don't suffer. They don't. Even when they're appearing like they're in the worst pain ever, they have the ability to go up, not pass, but leave their body. Now, the body is a 3D unit. It does suffer pain, such, but the consciousness, which is the only us that is us, doesn't stay in there. Again, we are the only beings that choose to suffer. Animals can leave. They can leave. So what I didn't want that kitten to go through was everybody going, oh no, to the kitten, and the kitten take that on. Because then that's going to be hard in a traumatized moment for a kitten to decipher, anybody to decipher what is positive, real positive, which sometimes might seem negative, and what is false positive.
Mm.
Because real positive is, you're fine. Let's get you to where you need to go. Not you're fine as in you're healthy, you're moving, whatever. You're breathing, your certain parts of you are aware. You're fine. Let's take you somewhere where we can figure out what to do with you. And then the kitten relaxed completely. And she was screaming when I first picked her up. And then when she went into my lap and she was able to feel that and when I went shh in her ear, I wasn't telling her to be quiet.
Mm-mm.
She was 4 weeks old. I was giving her the sound of her mom's belly. And she calmed right down. And so that is the human problem. We think animals are suffering. That's an epidemic. They aren't. We don't have to. What we need to do is enliven all of those receptors that work off of the energy, where we have a free trip any place we want to go. And if we want to go up into the hospital of the energy for a little while our bodies are down here processing stuff on the 3D plane, that's okay. It's okay to go away. That's a coma. We go away. So this is where I look at the the energetic lines needing to be re-understood. Yes, we need to continue helping animals for sure. That can't stop, like we have to continue helping. But what we have to do is understand what is the choice that we're looking at as far as what we're projecting onto the beings that come into our house, right? So if a new cat is coming in, all we have to do is just reach out to that new, or dog or horse or whatever, reach out to that new animal and say, I would love for you to fit in, because that's an invitation. Come to my house and fit in. You don't have to be a specific anybody. You can be a complete ass. And even if you're donkey, that's better. But, when we're moving together and we're moving forward, you will be able to understand that your temper tantrums are accepted. They're not, if you're going to reach out and get somebody, that's when they'll be addressed. But your temper tantrums are accepted. You're not going to be kicked out because you have a temper tantrum. Not at all. So that's the reaching out to the bringing them into a new home kind of a thing. It's just the thought. It's not the worry or me. I hope you fit in because wiener dog is a little bit aggressive and he's, sometimes rude and then going through all of the issues with the other animals. Whereas wiener dog's like, well, I'm only reacting and reflecting what you give, So it makes me chuckle.
No, I love that. This is very enlightening. Do you have anything you would like to add to this, Peter?
No, I'm finding this completely fascinating. So I'm enjoying it.
Good. And the reason why I said that is that on a very personal level, many of you know my Peanut and the famous Tell on the screen. And she's having a hard time accepting the latest addition. He's a now 1-year-old. He's a big boy. He's a mixed Savannah cat. And he's a big baby. I call him the baby lion. He's a big baby and he's like, he wants to be petted and he's belly up and everything. But the moment she sees him, it's like, oh my God, the house is shaking. She growls. I'm sure the neighbors can hear her. It's like, it's terrible. And I take her in my arms. I look her in her eyes. I tell her, look, it's okay. Just let him be. Be friends. Just another, on your tribe. You're still safe. You're still loved. You're still fed. Nothing changes. And
I would erase the words "be friends."
okay.
Because they don't need to be. They just need to be able to be close to each other and get along. Friends is an expectation.
Okay.
And we know cats. Cats and expectations don't go together.
No, that's what they're teaching us.
No.
Yes. Okay,
right.
So just send her the thoughts. Just accept.
And if she doesn't accept, to leave the room. Just leave. Go and find your favorite spot and go away. Nobody's kicking you out of the room. It's your choice. If you feel unsafe enough to the point where you need to growl, because she's not somebody who's going to give up her space, right? Like she's not somebody who's going to say, hey, I'm afraid of you, so I'm going to run away.
Oh, no.
So where she needs that direction is you need to make that, you could make a picture in your head of when she makes that sound. You don't want to put any picture of him in that because he's not the problem. She is. She's got a problem on how to handle herself while he's either in the room or getting what she wants or, whatever the situation is. And so not when she's looking at him and doing that, because then we're sending again the message that, oh yes, he's the cause and it's okay.
Right.
Because they don't put the red circle and line through it in their minds. They don't even comprehend that thing. So then we say, when you feel like this, and you know what she looks like, you know what she sounds like, you know how she behaves, you even know when it's starting and you can get her there. Hey, and don't be soft in this moment, because think of her. She's not being soft. She's like the biggest warrior ever, right? And as a warrior, going to hear somebody saying, hey, stop it. Damn it. And I'm not copying you. I'm just saying as a contrast. A warrior is going to hear, hey, go to your corner. That's where you need to go. And point out in your mind where that corner is, or just out of the room. Like if you know where her favorite spot is, then tell her to go there. with your mind. Don't say go there, because cats are like, screw you.
Yeah.
But you can put that picture in your mind and say, if you don't feel safe, then go somewhere where you do. And then have an area in the house where he is not allowed. And then she can move away and never feel cornered, or she's had something going on in her mind. There's something playing over. I'm not sure what area this is from, as in, like, is it a legacy? Is it something that she's bringing, like a purpose for, like something bringing up for you because you're going to be dealing with people this way, like with these issues or this idea? She's definitely here to work with you. And her lesson for you is to match her at that moment with calm, but what is that word? Assertive energy. Calm, but assertive energy. Okay. Hey, go to your corner. And then afterwards, she comes out in a better way. She'll have trust, because what you're saying is, this feeling is okay. It's okay, but not right here. You can have that feeling in your safe space. And then you just keep doing. It's not going to be like a quick fix, but it's going to be, and you can you can shoosh her into that room or into that area, or you can pick her up, as long as she's safe to pick her up and put her in that area. If she chooses to jump off of it, that's fine. But your picture is telling her, this is what you need to do when you don't feel safe. And she'll be like, okay, because she's smart as anything.
Oh, yeah.
But territorial too.
And what?
Territorial too.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, that's my girl. What can I say? I know. And thank you, Sabrina. We have a question for you from the audience, from Sonia. And she's asking, could you please ask Sabrina? So I'm going to read a question back to you. Is that okay? Okay. So the question is the following. Why do animals die and are reborn again and again? We have options when we pass, and I feel bad that they seems to keep coming back to where many are abused and traumatized and then turn into our food.
And that's a good question and statement. And this goes and it ties into the choice of suffering. When they make that agreement, again, they're sentient, right? We're not. Yes, we are, but we're not on any level like them. And so how we need to learn is through contrast. That's the human condition. We need to see what is on the opposite side in order for us to choose to hold on to certain information, most information. So what they're doing is, this is co-creating. This is exactly what co-creating means. They choose to come back because they're not an animal wherever they go energetically. They're a being. And they choose to come back time and time and time and time again because they have hope for us. They have hope that we're going to open up this crap that we've closed down because of crappy food, because of crappy medical system, because of crappy education, because of crappy music, because of crappy leaders, because of crappy patriarchy. And not real patriarchy. Real patriarchy isn't equal to matriarchy. The patriarchy that we have going on right now is one aspect of patriarchy. And it happens to be the not so enlightened aspect. There's a not so enlightened aspect of matriarchy as well. So we are animals. Those beings choose to keep coming back because that is their purpose. They are here to keep reflecting the contrast to humans so that humans can see what it is that's going on. And humans can feel what it is that's going on. And at some point, not very far in the future, like I'm not going to say within the next 100 years or anything, but at some point we're going to recognize that all we need is oxygen to eat, kind of a thing. Sorry, I thought I cut out there. Did I?
No, you're
Oh,
fine.
okay,
We can
good.
hear you.
Okay, good.
Continue.
Okay, so they keep coming back and they choose. This is the reward that they get for coming back. And we do too. They come back in a different way. Those beings are beings that have, processed so much. There's not many humans that haven't been animals that are at the level of animals. So what I mean by that is we've all been different things in our lives. People have been animals, animals have been people. When you get to keep coming back as animals, you've gone up. You're now in the realm of energetic change. And what I mean, I'm just labeling it that. But what I mean by that is that no longer is the physical in anything. It's a beautiful play out of a wonderful system that has been worked on and processed for 1 trillion years. Who knows? There's no time limit on that one. So this is what they're watching. And for them, death is nowhere near what it is for us. They don't have a loss with death. They're like, woohoo, can't wait to see what I'm coming back as. And they don't feel what we want them to feel, because those who suffer want a partner. We want to have somebody suffering with us. So we get an animal so that we can say, look at how much you're suffering. My chicken, remember the lesson about suffering with my chicken? I don't know. You might not, but my chicken taught me suffering. She told me, I don't feel any of what you're talking about. I see my body. I see it. I don't feel it. It's okay. And I was like, is it okay, the stuff you're going through? Or is it okay just to let you go and stop feeding you? And did it because I had to force feed her. And she was like, you can stop. Just let the body go. And it was the most clear moment of my entire animal. Well, yeah, maybe the most, clear moment of my entire animal communicating time frame, knowing I'm doing it, I've ever had. And I have been so grateful for that. So now when people say my animal is suffering, I say, in my mind, if they're not able to hear it, but they'll hear my telepathic message because innately they will, I say it's not the animal that's suffering. The animal has the choice to leave. It is you who is choosing to see your animal suffering because of the suffering you have within. That is the contrast and the projection and the reflection. I hope that was good.
It's incredible. No, we're all like, hang on to you, listening to every
Mhm.
word. And I thank you so much, Sabrina, for this. And we'll come back to animals, but I'd like to let Peter explore with you the angel
Yeah.
communication side. Yeah, let's talk about angel communication, archangel. So that's going to be for Peter and you. So I'm just going to start with Peter, and I want to dive deep with you, Sabrina, because I want to hear about your ability, which is absolutely awesome. Peter, how do you, for you, when Archangel Michael come and communicate with you, you get a transmission, what is your experience of this?
Oh, you've experienced it, you know.
I know,
Uh,
but I publicly won't.
yeah, I know. When Michael has a message that is important that needs to come out, he comes through with the unconditional love, and basically, I start weeping, and I can't talk. So it takes me a while to compose so that I can actually just speak, and then I get the message out. So it's very profound when Michael wants to communicate. I mean, they communicate with me, Michael, Metatron, Shemuel. They come in, they talk to me, but it's more of a knowing and not necessarily like a two-way dialogue. So it's a little different than that, more of a knowing. But when Michael wants to communicate, or any one of them want to communicate, it's usually when they trigger the unconditional love piece. It's
Right?
just like, yep.
Yeah. And I used to do that in the beginning with Melchizedek. And Michael would always be there. Michael, Ariel, and Raphael. And Ariel, because of the animals. And I see her as a she. I see them as a she. And that's beautiful. It's profound. And it's like I feel it's always hot in my chest, right in the center line.
Mhm.
Do you experience that?
It's hard for me to focus on anything else than just trying to keep myself composed.
Right?
I'll have to pay
Right.
attention more to my body.
Yeah, do that. See if you can start to, because I get you. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of I feel how I see it is like it's like opening the floodgates first, right? And
Yeah.
everything just because you have to be at a higher frequency in order to even be able to break down the information that they're sending to you. So it's like they have to raise you up. And how they do it is almost like that picture where the arms go back and the chest comes out and they just woof, and shoot a light right into the heart. And,
Yep.
and yeah, and so the floodgates have to then kind of fill in your whole body before you can start to and come out again, right? Like come out your fingertips, your toe tips, your chest, your head, your everything. And then you're full. And then they're like, okay, now we can talk. So that's that knowing, which is how I also have conversations with them, is that it's a very um yeah, picture like conversation. I feel like I get lots of pictures of like, remember when you went through this? We're dealing with that today. Oh yeah, I remember when I went through that. Do you get any of that afterward when you get the messages?
When I get the communication from Michael, it's pretty much the just knowing what the words are, and they just
Mm.
flow through me, and I don't know where the words came from, and it's not the internal chatter I normally get. It's some things I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying or why they're saying this, but this is what you need to hear. And sometimes I get the visualizations when I'm in the shop doing creative work on the tools. That's when they come through with the imagery. And they tell me do that. I'm like, okay, I see what it looks like. Okay, now let's see I see how I'm going to put it together.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. I too got that. We're pretty similar in because I can hear you, because when I do meditations, I don't know what the meditations are going to be about. I allow the group to bring, like when I do group meditations, I allow the group to bring their energies to the circle, and then I kind of go through and what looks similar, who is dealing with a lot of the same things, and then channeled meditation just bleh, like comes through my mouth. And I just don't step in the way of it. I allow it to and use everything around us. Like I've been doing with my girlfriend and her on her farm with her donkeys, ponies, and horses. We've been doing the horse meditation. I call it healing with horses. And
Yeah.
the wind, she just comes in at the perfect moments. Like I'm talking about, okay, think of a creek that's got fast flowing water. And then the wind comes through and wiggles on the leaves, and the leaves sound like water, right? And we're like, oh, that is so perfect. And with the angels, Melchizedek specifically, he would always in the beginning show me these little trails of like fortune cookie things, and it would just have one word on it each time. And so I'd be like, the pink. And I'd be going through seeing these one word pictures. So it's still a picture, but a picture of a word. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, I think I'm supposed to say this word. And so then when I started to follow it, I recognized how profound the people felt after talking to them or the meditation, or so they seem to come in pretty strongly all the time. Doesn't matter who you're dealing with. But Michael, because he's like the one of two archangels that's mentioned in any Bible. Mike, Michael and Raphael are the two that are mentioned in any Bible. So this is how we know that we can don't even need to justify, but we can almost prove that this is a thing. If we can have many different cultures and knowings, because we get the knowings from them. So if we have many different cultures and knowings, and they all still have a Michael, a Raphael, an Ariel, a Shemuel, all of them, then this isn't a joke, right? And there's so many we don't know about. They don't have a name yet with us. So go with it. But the angelic stuff, I get worldly healings from them, earthly or universal, but it's not presented to me as universal as much as it's presented to me as an aspect in the collective and focus it on Earth. So it's a bigger message.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting statement. And I have that question for both of you, actually. So when you talk about the way the angelic realm communicate with you, whether it's through the archangel like Michael, Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, I like the cookie fortune with the one word. I think it's brilliant. But in both cases, for both of you, because you're both of you are communicating with the archangel world, do you feel like some kind of transmission, emotion, or something? What is the process for you to receiving those communications from them?
You go first, Peter.
Well, thank you. For me, I don't understand what triggers the Michael to come in or the communication to start, but it usually is when Viv and I will be communicating, and there's a question that needs to be answered, and I don't have the answer, and it's important enough for like Vivian to know exactly what it's supposed to be. That's when he comes in, and the communication has been very, very profound. We actually had that. We've done one of these before where the communication, I told Vivian what was going on, the communication came through. And then I repeated it for a group about a month ago. And Michael came right back through to communicate it to everybody watching and listening. And it was profound enough to everybody in the room was weeping just about, and people on the live stream were doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really about the whole, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's always the big picture. For me, I need to be connected to self. And it's really integral because the messages that I get, they are very graphic, and I don't ask for them to not be graphic, right? I do ask for what I get. And it's because the aspect that I'm working with is just so, I mean, there's a lot of beauty and a lot of joy, and it's equal amounts of everything. And because I came into this life in a way that wasn't smooth, love wasn't understood the way that I know it now. It took a lot of understanding of people in order for me to receive the messages that I was getting, which is probably why I started to really pay attention to them in my 30s, like late 30s, mid 30s is when I really started to pay attention to the messages, because they used to be nightmares in my sleeping times. And some of the stuff was horrific and graphic. And I'm a person who learns from that because it's contrast. So I see that contrast and I don't want to contribute to that part of it. So that brings me to myself, who's had childhood trauma, deep childhood trauma. We all have, I'm sure. And where I bring to myself, the deep childhood trauma gave me an understanding for what so many others are going through, especially right now. So it's this scary, scary aspect. I'm not going to say I'm not afraid of it, but I'm not fearful of it. And what I mean by that is I'm active when I'm afraid. So that means is I'm still paying attention to what's going on in these visions and these messages that I'm getting. I can see what's going on. I'm in self, so I'm safe. And I can make changes in my everyday life now to not contribute to that vision.
What you're saying, Sabrina, is very powerful, extremely powerful, especially right now with all the different level of disclosure and movies and all of this. So that's a fine line right there. So am I to understand that it's a way of how the archangels are communicating with you through these intense, graphic, nightmare scenarios for you to, for what? For you to understand and how you can handle it without sustaining that scenario or putting too much energy into it? Is that what I'm grasping here?
Exactly. I need to sit in self to witness the pain of others. And so with self, I'm safe. My girlfriend asked me a little while ago, where is self? And I really thought about it. And she said, think of the most comfortable place you've ever been. I'm like, oh, in a horse barn with a horse, listening to them munch with my dog somewhere around me. And that's where I go for self. In my mind, I go to this part in my mind and my heart that's tied to this emotionally accepting area, because horses and chickens totally accept people's emotions. They reflect them. So if I'm angry, my horse is going to reflect me, or a horse is going to reflect me that I'm angry, but they don't go, oh, you're going to beat me, and never come back to me. They go, oh, you're so angry right now. And then I calm down in that very millisecond that I calm down. They're right there, right in there, supporting and loving and being. So that is myself. That's where myself goes, where there's perpetual love, innumerable well wishes, and just unmeasurable acceptance. And that's where I need to stand, because they're not showing me this because I can't handle it. I told them I can. And they're giving me this for me to be in self so that I can help to maybe free or to raise the frequency of those people who are going through, and animals who are going through that treatment or that lifestyle. Now, the animals, again, are lucky enough, not lucky, but they've done so much work where they can leave while their bodies are going through something. Kids and women don't necessarily do that. And that's who I'm here to help, are those.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah, no, I can feel that. Thank you, Sabrina. Before we go any further in this absolutely amazing conversation, I have an idea for all three of us. I'm going to invite you to stay with us because in a moment, I'm going to make a suggestion to really support our dear friend and my co host, Jeff, in a
Yes.
moment. Absolutely. I want to do that in a moment. But before that, I want to honor someone in the audience, someone who's been waiting a year to ask you a question, Sabrina. This is for you. They've been waiting literally a year, and I want to honor this person. I don't know the full name. They only see NM as an initial. I wish there was a name at least. But it's about her dog, Nina. Nina is a mixed breed. She's a year old and 3 months. The question is that would you know what is Nina's role? Why is she's with us? What's her role?
So she says to support the one speaking, the one reaching out. The support is of the heart. I feel like they might be going through something that's like ground shaking, ground. Like it's almost like the ground underneath them is coming apart and moving, and then a new piece of ground is popping up for them to stand on. And so what I feel like is that's a whole, maybe not belief system, but maybe operating system. And Nina is there to do exactly what my dog does every time, is to reflect the state of this person's being. And it's not to judge. There's no judgment. It's to allow us to see what we have going on inside of us, inside of our minds. And that's what Nina's doing. And she's also showing the intricate connections, like deep connections of the family, and that there might be like a little bit of turmoil or an upset going on in the family right now. And she's there to sort of not calm everybody down, because that's not anybody's job. We calm ourselves down. There's nobody out there who needs to do that for us. Although don't tell somebody to calm down. That's just asking for a fight. But anyways, so what she's doing is she's just reflecting the state of those around her. And I feel like right now she might be kind of one of those in one of those situations where she's constantly looking around all the time. And it could be perceived as maybe there's many energetic beings around that nobody sees or that people don't see. It's actually her, and she's very good at explaining things, which I like. It's actually Nina watching the different parts of her family. It's almost like each person is like, no, I don't want to be like that. And they kick it out, and she's watching it go, like a ball. Somebody's throwing a ball and she's like, whoa, there that one goes. Okay. There's no judgment. So she doesn't care if it stays or it goes. But what she is doing is watching all of these, and I don't want to call them entities, because I don't feel like it's any like it's anything negative. It's our belief process or our understanding of our own lives that doesn't match with the frequency that we're moving into. And so she's the one that is in the family, in the house, in this person's life, to reflect that with love, to reflect that change, to show, oh, there it goes. There's that fear, or that even if it's like in a moment where they seem like they're having a moment of just grr, the person is having a moment of grr, they're still letting things off. Like the belief system, I feel like might be, I have to be positive, or most of what's being told out there is to be positive. And the dog is like, no, be expressive. It doesn't matter if you're positively expressive or perceived negatively expressive. Let it out. Look at it. Understand it. Love it. Invite it back in. Tell it it has a place. Just like Peanut. Just like everybody who has their own being and their own feelings and their own whatever. We have to look at what they are seeing as us letting go, what the animals are seeing as us letting go. And it's not letting go as in I don't want it ever again, because we don't let go of parts of ourselves. They teach us. We can allow them to integrate and become a bigger lesson somewhere along the line, or maybe up in the collective, but we don't, zap it and away it goes. It's always integrated up. And so that's what she's doing. And she's one of those that the dog, Nina, she's like, just look at it when it comes out and see what it is. And just don't kick it out. Just let it stay with you for a while, and don't feel ashamed that it's there. It's like a lot of women we are so on a path of power healing. And when we start to get together, it's this power healing process that is bringing community back together again. And people like you, Peter, who are connected to that emotional aspect of yourself, are included. Nobody's excluded. In order to operate in this type of a community, we need to be at a certain frequency. It's not a joke. It's a real measurable number. And if we're not at that level, then everything we get just looks like trouble, because we're not seeing the positive, the much huger positive aspect of what we're making into a negative little ball, right?
Right. No, absolutely. I can see that. And again, I want to welcome those who are joining us along the way. And today, very unique episode. As you can see, Peter Peter Benson, my husband, is stepping in for Jeff for today, which we'll do a little something special for him right now. But we have Sabrina Campbell with us, and we're talking about her amazing gift, animal communication, energetic reset, angel communications, how can really better understand telepathic communication. So it's been an amazing, amazing journey here today. Absolutely. So we want to acknowledge that and also bring the pace back, the flavor of what's today's episode is about. Um, there's other comments or questions for you about the animal kingdom, which we will go back to. But right now, what I'd like to do, Sabrina, and I will, if you accept, of course, I'll let you lead the way on that one and bring Peter's connections to Archangel Michael, asking the Archangel realm to come, both of you to bring your angelic connection. I'll bring my intergalactic connections. And we would like to let's come together to really supporting Jeff and what he's going through right now, which was more serious than what it looked like at first. And it recently went just through a stroke, and it came close. It came close, but he's still with us. He has a long way to recover. Sabrina, it will be a pleasure, and since you're good friends with Jeff yourself, at the same time, and Peter with your angelic connection, how about you lead a little energy work or an energy transmission? We're going to be there to support. I'll bring my team. Peter will bring his. It's all our connections together. And I'm asking everyone joining us right now, and even those who will be listening to the replay, join us right now as we're coming together to support Jeff Demers, our dear friend, my co-host here on the Infinite Star Connections. Would you like to do that, Sabrina?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All
And
right.
and Jeff, my friend, this is a message for you. Just accept. Receive it, say yes, accept. It's time. Please just say yes, okay?
Yeah.
That's Lavinia. We're counting on you to coach your husband here.
Allow him to bring this buttload of a love and connection info into him and all
Oh
his
yeah,
being.
and with the Ponte group coming in, I know
Yeah.
they're with him right now. His
Yeah.
beautiful group. So
Yeah.
let's open sacred space, and we'll let you lead whatever your heart tells you. And of course, Peter and I will hold space with you. Is that okay?
Yep. That's perfect.
Peter, is that okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll keep my eyes closed. I can see the messages much easier. So if all of us, all of our guides, all of the energies that surround us can imagine opening our heart. You can imagine there's a little door. You can imagine it has hinges on one side and opens right up. It doesn't matter how you imagine it or even if you imagine it. Let's put the energy towards a beautiful heart, our heart, opening up. And as it opens, we have infinite connection. We have infinite knowing. There's no protection needed because only the highest frequency things can come into this meeting. There's no need to worry. We are perfectly grounded by all of the loving energies all around us. And now imagine that open heart as a flower pot, and you planted seeds in there, and you eagerly watch it every day as you water it. Is there a sprout? Is there something? And for days you watch it, and not much seems to come, but there's a feeling inside of your heart, and it ties to that beautiful flower pot. And then you go away for 3 days somewhere special, and you come back, and there's this beautiful sprout, not just one, but so many. And we allow those sprouts to grow and grow and grow and grow. And those sprouts turn into flowers. And the flowers all smell so perfect and so beautiful. And you now know that there's always so much work that's happening, even though we don't see it. And knowing that allows all of the work being done in people's hearts, in people's minds, in the frequency shift from both of those going up and up and up. That no matter what, all of this growth is going to turn into the most beautiful, strong, bright bouquet. And we're not going to know all the flowers. We're going to accept them because they are growing and growing and growing. And so are we. And from doing just this small, seemingly small activity, what we are doing is sending out to Jeff's heart, to Jeff's mind, to anybody in the area who has heart and mind wants. They're all, and we all, are getting the growth that we need. And the evidence is going to be so available soon enough. Let's trust and trust and then trust some more. And that will help the love. It will help the heart. It will help the mind. And Jeff is going to feel all of that as a huge ripple effect. And the beautiful lines that are connected to the heart and to the mind, they're growing with such beautiful perfection that they are allowing the flow of body, of blood, of energy to perfect itself. If it has to make new pathways, it is perfectly making new pathways. So let's trust. And let's put out there that this activity is going to go on for however long Jeff needs it, with as much intensity as Jeff needs it, with as little intensity as Jeff needs it. It is an ebb and flow of consistent healing and love and trust. Thank you. And thanks be to Source.
Thank you, Sabrina. That was incredible. I saw this bouquet coming in, and then I saw my body start to vibrate, and I did see something extracting from his chest, actually. I saw
Right?
an energetic coming in, and I know the source. I won't say it, but I know the source. It's coming out, and I saw that. Peter, any add-on comments, experience you would like to share? You're muted, dear.
Actually, sorry. No, that was actually very beautiful. I don't want to taint any of that. That was perfect. Thank you so much.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
taint it. You would add beautiful perfection to it as well, Peter. Just so you know.
Thank you for reminding him of that.
Yeah.
So humble and yet powerful. That's my Peter for you.
That's right.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, and I also felt Lavinia, his wife. I felt her energy there, and I felt her heart also expanding. She needs that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, their children and, even their dogs. I know Jeff has his faithful companion, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Yeah. That little guy's doing lots of work for his dad right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I felt his dog too, and the baby one too. And so, it's just really much beautiful how we come together. And I want to thank everyone who is supporting this wave that you talk about. I like that wave, the continuing.
Right?
I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I saw very much so, and I saw my Arcturian group there. And I said, okay, Ponty, where are you? And I feel like they were like jumping all over, all around and exploring what's going on in the surrounding of the hospital and instrument, and they're just exploring it.
You know what I find funny whenever I see them doing stuff with Jeff about this incident is they're like, you could just zap them with this thing, and they've got like their own tools, and they're like, you could just do this.
Yeah, and they know at the same time, because my ear is buzzing, that part of probably the lessons for Jeff is to learn to accept, to receive support, help.
Mm-hmm.
That, to accept or receive, that's a big one. Accepting to receive, as much as we become the pillars and I can take it, I'll deal with it, I'm okay. When you pull on those roles, when you go, you know what, you also need to receive, and that's a big one right there. So for
It
everyone
is.
that's watching and feeling that energy right now, think about it. Need to
Yeah.
receive as well, right?
Yeah. And say thank you. Even if there's nobody to say thank you to, just put it out there, because as soon as we say thank you, our hearts open right up and so much healing comes in.
Yes,
Even
exactly.
even if we're not 100% behind the thank you, that doesn't matter. You don't need a door to open all the way in order to walk through it. You just need it to open enough for you to get your foot in there, to kick it open a little more to get through it.
That's another aspect of today's episode with you, Sabrina. It's about the release of the heart center, releasing of suffering, releasing of, our taking on, sometimes as impact, we take on, and without consciously knowing it, those what we take on, we can also project in
Mhm.
form of expectation, energy, emotion onto our animals, family members, friends, community, everywhere.
Yep.
So that's a big one. Well,
Even our clients, if we don't have that full on understanding, like that depth, then like that's that whole fear of that fake wokeness, like I'm not woke because I my eyes have never been closed. Like in this life anyways. So, even when I'm sleeping, I'm working. So I'm awake.
preaching to the choir here. All three of us right now, we all doing a lot of overtime work when the body sleeps. Right, Peter?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
You know what? I have to say this because it just ties in perfectly. That TikTok song, it's like it goes hell no to the no, no, no. I don't know. It's a clip they use. Okay. So I woke up on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday with that song in my head. I woke up. Now, I didn't watch a video before I went to bed. There was no reason for that song to be in my head. And when we came home from work, we all, like my son came with us. My husband and I went to work, and our son came with us. And we came home, and our 17-year-old dog had had a stroke. And we didn't know that it was a stroke. He had seizures, random, not many, here and there. And he was behaving like he had had a seizure. He didn't improve. And we had to say goodbye to him on Thursday. So I look at that, and I woke up with that song on that day in my mind. And I said to my dog, Torque, who was the one we had to say goodbye to, I said, what was that? And he was like, your resistance yet again, my beautiful friend, your resistance. I was like, okay, I feel that. What do you mean? And he said, I told you. I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. Are you ready for me to go? And that's what you said. I was like, shit. Like, there I am. And he had said very clearly that this, and then after he said that, I can remember the conversation in my mind, in my dream. And he had said to me, okay, so you're not ready for it, but will you do it? And then I said, yes, of course I'll do it. So I was just given that random answer, as beings, because we're talking as equal beings in that realm. And he's saying, this is the plan. This is how it has to go. Are you ready? Are you going to do that? Or no, are you ready? And I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want you to leave. Okay, fine. You don't want me to leave, but will you do it? So that was the agreement. And I woke up with that song. Like, so I didn't question it as per, is it right? Is it a deep message? Oh, I knew it was. And after it happened, that's when I went back to ask. Because if I had asked in that moment, I might not have acted on certain things I should have.
I see. I see. And so, if I understand correctly, sometime animals will need says, "I know you're not ready, but I am ready. Would you
Mm-hmm.
please let me?" And sometimes we're gonna have to take that step. Come
Mm-hmm.
over here, you. This is my famous Bengal.
Look at
Look at
him.
her.
Oh, her.
My beautiful.
This is Peanut?
That's my
Yep.
peanut.
Oh, this is Peanut. Where is the look at she's like, of course it's me.
Look
Duh.
how majestic she is.
She's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. You want to know what energy I get from you, young lady? Is
Yes,
this.
please. Oh my God, Callie.
Mm-hmm.
Callie, that's the energy you're getting from my majestic peanut, my
Yes.
Bengal of love.
Yep. And she's one of Kali's feet. That's the weirdest thing I've heard, but I don't care. I'll take it.
Oh, wow.
Right? And
Wow.
she, as soon as I looked into Peanut's eyes, and I was, oh, you're familiar. And I had to look a little deeper because she was familiar. And then she just put on this face of, you know me. And I was like, well. And then I looked up and I saw blue. That's exactly how it happened. And I'll go that route because we don't look at things randomly, right? So then I looked up and I saw the sign up free thing, and it was bright blue. And I was like, it is Kali. So
Oh my God, this is incredible.
I'm going to pull a card for her. So you say whatever you want. I can answer. I'm just going to pull a card for Peanut in the Kali Ma
Oh,
deck.
thank you. Thank you so much. It's just she jumped on my desk, and I felt intuitively she go, "Fine. You can just, I'll look at her." And she was talking about you. I'll look at her. Fine. And that's why I grab her, and then, of course, everybody else, you're looking at my peanut. She's majestic. And she came to me, she was 2.2 pounds, little tiny ball,
Oh,
determined, and she told me, "You're the one taking care of me." And I said, "Yes, I am."
yeah. And they know my dog Torque, who we just said goodbye to. He was so tiny at when I was going to pick out who he was going to be. I was looking at this thick one, and he body checked. He shoulder checked the puppy. The puppy literally rolled away, and he was like, "You want me?" I was like, "I want him." He was so obvious. Okay, who is she? Oh, I've never gotten this one yet. I have done this deck so many times, and I've always gotten the same cards. So I'm the Moksha of Kali. Oh, where am I?
Oh, what is that?
Looks like a dahlia or something.
Yeah, beautiful. It
So
looks powerful.
yeah, and what I have from that is that this golden from the inside is her light. And I'm trying to get it. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time today. Oh, it's because your video camera's opposite, I think.
We see it. We see it.
So the gold on the inside and the gold enlightening, like lighting up the entire back, and especially on the masculine side, which would indicate the issue with, her own masculinity, which she is reflecting on the other cat. It tells me that it is divine. So she is bringing this up to strengthen something in both of you, not just you, Vivienne, but also you, Peter. And there's a part of her that is, it's almost like, hold my cape. And she wants to jump in and do something, right? Like, just hold my cape. I need to go in here and fix something. And so you do a lot of that too. And she's learning right now that the more that she tries to fix without that divine leadership, and even sometimes just going on feeling, the more that she's not feeding to herself. So it's this understanding, it's a balance thing. Because where I'm going with this card is we're looking at the inside of that flower. But the main gold focus, the supporting divinity, is in that gold light behind the flower.
Right.
but we're only looking at this right now.
Right.
And so when she's showing you this issue that she has, again, it's with herself. It's the masculine within her that she has an issue with. She is reflecting a lot of women. That is the state of women right now. And not that there's not an issue with relationships. What it is there's a switch into equality, and we just don't know how to move that way. So what she's giving, not that you have a problem switching, you're dealing with a lot of people who are either holding on to it, or like this issue with the masculinity, or it's somehow affecting their lives, and it's not being released or sort of witnessed. You go into the self and you witness what's happening, and then allow the lessons to show themselves. So it's almost like this constant reflection from Peanut, like we have to honor that firm, like all of the beautiful benefits that the divine masculine bring, and that they show in a lot of men right now, but those men aren't being highlighted. My husband, one of them, he's also hooked up with Michael, and his hands are so electric that he can fry so many things, or just have miscommunications. Like his map on his phone will say completely different things than my map on my phone say.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, how can we be going on the same route and yours on the same route, and yours says it's a dead end and mine says it's going right through?
Exactly. Yeah, no, we
So
got that too. Sabrina, thank you so much. I want to honor you. How can connect with you? Do you have still your website, Six Sensibilities?
yeah, with Sabrina Campbell. And my email, which is sixsensibilities@gmail.com. And that's also on my Facebook page. So if it's hard to remember. I think you have it running somewhere.
Yeah,
Usually.
I'm going to show it on the screen right now. So don't worry about that, everybody. Let me show. There we go. See,
Perfect.
we have it right there. You want to connect with Sabrina. Beautiful gift, animals, angel communication, your own self, creating a bridge of understanding within yourself, which will reflect into your communication with your animals, angelic realm, your higher self, all of it. Connect with Sabrina. As you can hear today, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Plus, with my wonderful husband, Peter Benson, also holding a space with his angelic energy. So you have the email right on the screen. Make sure you see it. I'm going to post it in the chat room as well. So this way you'll have it there. But this just been absolutely incredible. And I will say that on a personal level, doing the work for supporting Jeff, it's been for me very, very important today to do.
Me too.
And I'm extremely grateful. I'm going to post right there. The email is also right here. Sonia says, when Jeff comes back, I hope Peter will stay too. We need his beingness, his angelic presence. So
I love Sonia.
yeah, Sonia is great. Sonia had also a good comments about the animal. I love her sensitivity toward animals. And she said, you know what? I understand what you're saying, Sabrina, about animal not suffering. But what is it about farm animals when they get slaughtered and they get in line and they wait on their turn and they can hear the others going through the process? Can they still do the same thing going out
Yes.
of body?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
They do.
because I know that there's been report of here screaming and crying and panicking. So that's where the conflict for me came in. I'm like,
The
how
body
come?
makes noises. Like if you think of something that's got a disease, like there's that big deer disease that's going around right now, EHD or something like that. The deer is not there, but the body it goes through a process. It has to, right? I mean, when an animal is euthanized, you can still hear sounds when you pick it up. And so we have to understand that it's not okay that it's happening. But in order for us to take on that suffering is even more not okay for us.
Good point.
But
Good point.
the education process is very, very important. Very important.
Huge, 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 huge.
Mhm.
So that's a big wisdom. We're like nodding right now. It's about the educational process. Do you have something you want to add to that, Peter?
Nope, that's I've been mentioning that before. Is we can't take on the suffering of all of the animals on the world if we're trying to change the world. We actually
Right.
have to focus on ourselves first, and then from there work forward. But we can't focus on trying to heal one animal at a time. That's just not the way to work.
Or hold on to that fear or that suffering
Hmm.
while we're trying to heal, because all we're going to do then is heal at the level of that suffering, and that's not very high. That's so low compared to what we can heal on. So when we're if it's like the feminists back in the day, I hate men. Well, what are you doing? You can't hate men if you want the world to change. So it's this beautiful process where we have to look at in our minds what we want. What we
Yes.
want.
That yeah, that's a really, really really
Yeah.
wonderful um way to look at it. What do we want? What shift, what significant shift in this world for all life forms and for an entire planet? And so we need to invest our light in that directions. Powerful message. Perfect way to end first just for today, this episode. Sabrina, thank you so much for being with us. Always a joy to be in your presence, your wisdom, your energy. We love the way you express yourself. There's so much about you. You're such a blessing for many, many. Very much so, including your beautiful
Well, I love
chicken.
you guys.
We do. And of course, thank you, my husband, Peter, for coming in, bringing your angelic energy. Jeff, you're back soon. We need you here and more than ever. So it's a time to rise, everyone. Technically, we'll be back on next episode is as of right now scheduled for Sunday, July 30th. So let's make a beautiful goal that by July 30th, Jeff is back to normal with us. That's the energy. All right, let's hold the energy. Sunday, July 30th, we're back here with Infinite Star Connections with your hosts, myself and Jeff. And of course, Peter can always come back, be there with us. Sabrina, you always welcome here, always. Thank you so much. We send you so much love and gratitude. And stay in your light, everyone. See you very soon. Namaste.